Have them come on down. Come on, guys. Come on down. Come on down.
All right, good.
Gather
Absolutely. Gather around.
Yeah, can the fire chief get a microphone?
Yeah.
Good right here.
No,
No, come on. Come on.
head over here.
Chad, come down this way.
Oh, I'll be there.
Come on. Come around this side, Chad.
It shows unity.
It's unity.
Watch the mud, watch the mud. Okay.
You guys ready? Okay. Good morning. I'm David Painter with the Clermont County Commissioner's Office, and I want to thank the media for coming here. I'm joined here by my other two commissioners, Bonnie Batchelor and Claire Corcoran, who's right here in the Commissioner Corcoran, who's here in the audience with me. We have some important information to share, and we appreciate your help in getting this information out to the community. I'm here today with the New Richmond Village Administrator, Catherine Bailey, and the many law enforcement officers, firefighters, and emergency responders, utility workers, transportation officials, building inspectors, county government staff, and relief organizations who have been on the front lines of this flood. Thank you for your emergency operations team. And also, thanks to Luke Cox and the others in the Richmond School District for working closely with us, hosting our emergency operations and Red Cross shelter. I just want to say a special thanks to all those folks here in the village in New Richmond who have worked so hard, especially the joint response that's been made from surrounding townships. People who have come from Pierce and Monroe Township and all of our other township affiliates that we've been able to ask for their help, and they have shown up in droves, and they have done a monumental effort here. Special thanks to Tim Feldkamp and the firefighters and responders here in the village of New Richmond. They were right here on the ground, making sure that utilities were disconnected and that people's residents and businesses were taken care of. We couldn't have done this without them. Current status, where we're at today, nearly 100 homes and businesses have been affected by the flood here in New Richmond and other communities along the Ohio River. Communities like Shiloh, Neville, Moscow, Point Pleasant, and Palestine. Thankfully, there were no injuries or deaths in Clermont County. The river is receding and is currently about 53 feet. Just to talk about that for a second, many people have experienced a flood here before in 97 and in 2018. They know exactly what they're doing and they know how to respond. The ones that we were most concerned about are people who have moved in since 2018 who have never had to experience something like this before. As a New Richmond native, this flood hits home in a very personal way for me. Now as in previous years when other floods have ravaged our hometown, our community has rallied to help our neighbors in need. This time is no different. Thank you to the residents of New Richmond and surrounding communities in Clermont County for your patience and your trust in all of us. We know that you're anxious to get back in your homes, and we're working hard on our end to help. We will make sure you get the assistance that you need. The next steps. As the flood waters continue to recede, we are focused on cleanup and getting residents back in their homes and the businesses reopened. Thanks for the great work of our local, state transportation crews. All roads except one in Clermont County have been cleaned and reopened. And old US 52 at 9 Mile is expected to reopen today. And as I am sure many of you have noticed, all of US 52 from 275 to Clermont County and Brown County line has reopened, thanks to our partners in the Department of Transportation. Debris removal is underway. You may have seen those big street sweepers moving up and down Front Street and across the county yesterday. The roads are looking great. The Adams-Clermont Solid Waste District is also working here in the village and the townships to provide dumpsters and debris removal if it is needed. We are working hard to get residents back in their homes and businesses. Earlier this week, the Clermont County Board of Commissioners approved 2 resolutions, one declaring a state of emergency for Clermont County and the other to waive inspection fees for buildings affected by the flood. Our county inspectors, Duke Energy, village fire department officials are going door to door to assess and safely reconnect electric and gas lines. As a result, more than half of those affected have returned to their homes. And our crews will continue to work until dusk and evening and again tomorrow to get residents back in their homes as safely and efficiently as possible. Volunteers and disaster relief. There's a long list of volunteers and disaster relief. These organizations that come to our aid, and we thank them. They include the following: the First Baptist Church in New Richmond, River of Life Church in Moscow, the Red Cross, Matthew 25 Ministries, Greater Cincinnati United Way, Cintas Corporation Mobile First Aid Safety Disaster Relief Vans, Tide Loads of Hope, Masters of Disaster and Crossroads Church, American Regulators in Disaster Response, Southern Baptist Disaster Relief, and Team Rubicon. Now I would ask that Village Administrator Kathleen Bailey will talk more about relief efforts. Catherine, if you'd like to come to the podium.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner David Painter. Without you, a lot of this wouldn't happen. We so appreciate you and the other commissioners and all your team at Clermont County, because it has been a joint effort. So I'm Catherine Bailey. I'm the Village Administrator for New Richmond, Ohio, as well as I'm the Floodplain Manager. As David said, the Ohio River was around 53 feet. By 2 o'clock today, we anticipate that it will be at 50.5 feet. We do not expect any additional flooding, and we have officially moved from the emergency situation to recovery. Our main focus now is to safely return the residents back to their homes and open our businesses, and we're doing a great job with that. We have moved our last resident, I'll wait just a second. We have moved our last resident out of the American Red Cross shelter at the high school back into his home last evening. 89 of our homes and businesses were impacted. No structures received significant damage or were destroyed, and most of the structures that were impacted during this flood have minor to moderate damage. The New Richmond Administration and Utility Department have been in touch with 95% of those impacted by the flood, and will continue as a team to assess the needs and support that our residents and businesses need in any way possible. I want to also especially thank my team. I tell you, this utilities team, administrative team, Kelly and Bobby, Bob Lindhorst, and all the guys and gals that have helped us. It's been an amazing outpouring. But mostly, I want to say, wow, what about these residents and businesses? Have you ever seen anything like this? Yesterday, the floodwaters were just right up the street there. And already we've cleaned up the streets, we've opened up businesses. I was able to eat at El Barro last night when it had water around it in the morning. By the afternoon, the health department had been here, they had opened it up. Front Street's going to open tonight and have live entertainment and serve food. Holy Bean's open. Becca and the Green Kayak, they'll be open this afternoon. And so, and Bucks will be open sometime tomorrow. So it's just amazing that, I mean, I don't know how many of y'all were down here and saw the amount of water on these streets and up against these buildings, but it's amazing to think that we're already open and back in business. So I just want to thank everyone that helped us, especially thanks to the fire department, the police department, and the Clermont County group and all the volunteers. So don't forget about us. We still need a lot of help. This is not over with. So we want to continue to focus on volunteer cleanup and so forth. So we really appreciate you, and on behalf of myself, the Mayor Glenn Ewing, our council, and all of our village workers here, we appreciate all of you. Thank you all for coming today. And you can call us at any time, 513-553-4146, extension 11, and we'll help you in any way. And we want all the residents and business to continue to stay in touch. It's been a great team effort and wonderful communication. We thank everyone.
Quick question for, I don't know if this would be better for Mr. Painter, regarding the emergency declaration. Clermont County is, as far as I know, I think you all are the last to make that declaration. Is there any reason why, I guess it was waited until the floodwaters are starting to recede to make that declaration?
Not at all. It was just a matter of scheduling as far as when the when the actual meetings were happening. If it would have been needed in the middle, we would have done it much earlier.
This doesn't affect any repayment or any assistance like that at all?
It does not. If you really have a question about that, I would call on Pam. Pam Havercloss is here from our emergency management organization. You know, there is a designation that has to be made as far as a monetary impact that would declare a local disaster and or a statewide. You bet.
You guys said there's more flood cleanup to do. If people want to help, who should they call? What should they do?
Pam, you want to tell them who to call, please? This is Pam. She's our EMA for Clermont County, and she ran our command center up the high school. Thank you, Pam.
So if people want to donate, we are still accepting donations at the First Baptist Church of New Richmond. We have specific items that we're still looking for, like mops, brooms, pretty much cleanup kits. So bleach. If they want to make a financial donation, we have a fund set up through the Connect Clermont, Make It Care of the Disaster Relief, and that can be made to any Park National Bank, or it can be sent to Connect Clermont at 2400 Clermont Center Drive, Batavia, Ohio 45103. 100% of those proceeds will go back to helping the residents of Clermont County who have been affected by this flood. In terms of if you are interested in volunteering, right now we are using affiliated volunteer organizations. As Commissioner Painter highlighted, we have 4 affiliated organizations that are coming in. We are entering all of the needs that we identify into Crisis Cleanup, which is an app that these disaster relief organizations use, and they will go through one by one to make sure that those are addressed. So the 4 affiliated groups that we're using right now are Crossroads, Masters of Disaster, Team Rubicon, the Southern Baptists, and American Regulators, which is a local organization out of Goshen. If people are interested in volunteering and they are not affiliated, they can contact our office. We have a hotline set up. It's 513-735-8500, and they can provide their information. And if we get to the point that we need to set up a volunteer reception center, we can do that, and then we can coordinate with the impacted jurisdictions to get volunteers to specific tasks. So again, we will be matching volunteers with the defined need at the jurisdiction level.
You said donations. Are there specific items you're looking for?
Yes, it should be on the Clermont County website, the exact items we're looking for. So we still need some hygiene supplies, which would include shampoo and hand sanitizer. But most of what we need is cleanup supplies like mops, squeegees, rags, bleach. That's what the residents are looking for. I think we did add a few items recently to include box fans and goggles. There was a request for some safety goggles. So all of that can be dropped off at the First Baptist Church of New Richmond, and then we are working to take supplies out to the River of Life Church, where our eastern communities can get those.
Staffer, you mentioned about the importance of businesses opening, but can you talk about the importance of people supporting these businesses? They've been closed.
Absolutely. I love that you asked that. You know, here we are. We've gone through a disaster. What do we need other than cleanup and volunteers? We need people to come to New Richmond. So, you know, come and support our restaurants. They've taken a big hit. They've been out of business. Plus our other shops, you know, we've got boutiques, antique shops. You know, all these folks have been without work, without income for all these days. So there's nothing that you all could do, and tell all your listeners out there, come to New Richmond. Come and visit us. Come and eat with us. Come and shop with us. And we appreciate that very much. Great question.
And just to touch on that just for a second, you know, one of the things that they focused on so quickly was to get these businesses
That's
back
right.
open. Because as people come into New Richmond to help and to volunteer, well, frankly, we've got to be able to feed them. So
That's right.
one of the other things you talked about, things that people need, you know, and I'll just touch base on that for a second. The number one tool of use here right now in New Richmond is the pressure sprayer. You know,
That's
all of
important.
these groups
Yeah,
that can
very
bring pressure
important. Yeah.
sprayers, that's the most important tool that you
Yes.
can have. Because as this mud is wet and is actually on the walls of your residence, getting it washed off and closer to the foundation where it can be pumped out, that's what it's all about. The more of that has time to dry, the more the cleanup goes on and on. So,
No, great. And I want to add one thing to that, David, is also please tell the listeners out there that if they've been impacted in their homes, go on and set that debris, the household debris out, not garbage, put that in the garbage can, but set your debris in one pile, your limbs and bush in the other. And we have volunteer groups that are coming around throughout the weekend to get this place ship shape and back cleaned up, okay?
How long do you anticipate kind of having folks going around helping out, that sort of thing? Just a couple days, maybe a week?
Oh,
Is
no,
there
I'd say a
timeline on
week.
that?
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
a week or two.
Week or two. Yeah, week at the minimum. Anything else?
I think my last question, in retrospect, let's say down the line, when we look back on this event, what will come to mind? How will you guys remember it?
Well, first off, in 2018, we learned a lot, so we get better at this, unfortunately. So I think the communication, the team effort from the fire department, police, the public utilities in Clermont County, I think it was really top notch. Can we learn something? Always. So we'll do a debrief after this. The commissioner, our team throughout New Richmond here, we'll look what we did well and what we didn't do well. Because, unfortunately, there's the Ohio River and it will come again. So we got to be prepared for that moment. So we'll really work together to see how we can improve that. Okay?
And just to go a little further, put that in perspective. I'm a lifelong resident here. Tim from the fire department, Tim Feldkamp, Chief Feldkamp, he is also. I have seen many, many floods here all the way back in '64. I can tell you that in '97, we hadn't had a flood for 30 years. Many, many people had moved into Richmond, and they frankly had not experienced this. Many people are still here from 18, and they know how to do it.
That's right.
And what does that look like? What it looks like is you're watching the water come up, you're looking down in the registers of your house, you're seeing the basement start to fill up, you're listening to the prediction, you start to move stuff upstairs. Wall-to-wall carpeting isn't a big thing here in New Richmond. You roll up those area rugs,
right.
They go to the second floor, furniture gets taken to the second floor, the refrigerator gets set on top of the kitchen table, so you got some more freeboard room, and then you exit the home. And then you come back and this cleanup effort starts. I mean, that's what it looks like. People love living next to this waterway. It
Willing
does
to pay the price, right?
It gets in your blood.
Yeah.
You're going to continue to do that, and I, for one, would never want to miss it.
Absolutely. Anything else? We can. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you.